Hi, you are watching Indepth with me, ILA. China has for the first time unveiled details of its plans to land astronauts on the moon by the end of the decade. If successful, the mission would make China only the second country after the United States to have achieved the feat. Here are the details that have been revealed for its manned lunar mission. China will, most likely, send 3 astronauts for the mission. 2 of them are likely to travel on the lander to set foot on the moon, while the third would be piloting the command and service spaceship in lunar orbit. China also aims to set up a research station to conduct systematic and continuous lunar explorations in the future. The Chinese Space Agency is collaborating with Russia's Roscosmos to build a joint moon base by the mid-2030s. China has made major progress in its moon probes since launching its first orbiter, the Chang'e 1, in 2007. The latest in the series, Chang'e 5, was launched in November 2020. It landed a rover on the moon on December 1 that year and returned to Earth with 2 kilograms of lunar soil 2 weeks later. China will use the Lunar Orbit Rendezvous process, or the LOR process, for its manned lunar mission. The Chinese LOR process will be similar to that adopted by the US Apollo program more than half a century ago. But unlike the Apollo mission, which used just one rocket to carry both the moon lander and the command spaceship into lunar orbit, China will be sending them aboard 2 separate rockets. The lunar lander and crewed spacecraft would be sent separately for rendezvous and docking in orbit. The astronauts will then move from the command spacecraft into the moon lander and descend to the lunar surface. After carrying out scientific investigations and sample collection, the crew will board the lander again to ascend to lunar orbit, where they will rendezvous and dock with the command spacecraft for the return journey to Earth. Chinese researchers are developing the Long March 10, which is a heavy carrier rocket, a new generation of manned spacecraft, a lunar lander, and a crewed lunar rover for the mission. Heavy rockets were first adopted by the Apollo program in the 1960s and 1970s, and they are the most economical way to send humans on a round trip to the moon. Using heavier rockets allow for maximum payload saving, as the bigger command and service spaceship remains in orbit and only needs to carry fuel for the lightweight lunar lander's descent and ascent. The Apollo astronauts separated the spacecraft from the powerful Saturn V rocket after entering the moon's trajectory, and then traveled on it for 3 days until they reached lunar orbit. But China's process would see the spacecraft and the lander enter the lunar orbit directly on board their respective rockets. This mission is slated to be completed by 2030 by the Chinese Space Agency.